Okay. So, what we're going to start off with is going over an online pastor is accused of running a $3 million crypto scam. He claims God helped him. So, we discussed this previously a little bit, but Eligio Regalado allegedly targeted the Christian community, telling believers that God had told him investors would end up wealthy if they put money into his shit coin. So pretty much already not a good guy, but um let's let's start
What
off
kind
with the
of
article.
religion was he?
I don't know. I'm just assuming he's some sect of Christianity. Oh, it literally says member of the Christian community.
Perfect,
A
perfect.
part of. We're gonna get into that. Okay, so a Colorado pastor accused of blah, 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 already read all that. So Eli Regalado and his wife Caitlin have been charged with civil fraud offenses by the Colorado Division of Securities after the cryptocurrency INDX coin raked in almost $3.2 million for more than 300 people. So, like, put that in perspective. That is, like, I did the math earlier. It was roughly $10,700 per person who donated. That's
Jesus.
like, that is like enough from like disposable income, like people who have either a lot of disposable income or people who are really susceptible to getting scammed, which a lot of religious people are really susceptible to getting scammed because when you're this type of like figure, you can kind of lure people into doing a lot for you. And essentially this is like a pinpoint example of how you get them to do that. You just get them to follow your every move,
And
and
almost it's like
this
probably
is
like a status symbol in the church too, like how much can you donate? Like makes you look good amongst how many people,
yes, yes,
and that lures you in even more because it makes it like a status symbol for you to donate to this ultimately what is a scam. So it's
yeah,
crazy and it just is kind of like almost probably addicting as well, but
yeah. Effectively, it like when people do donate, I'm sure they let others know. And this is just the average. I'm sure most people did not donate, or I'm sure like the median isn't 10,000 something dollars. It's probably some people put their entire life savings into it because this guy essentially just defrauded them into just being like, "Hey, Jesus told me that, you should be in my crypto. You've ever heard of crypto? I know you're like 70 years old, so you
right.
maybe watch the news. Yeah, this is just like Bitcoin, and you know how well that went. So,
And per se you believe
but but
it, like say you believe
but this
that.
this is
Yeah.
yeah, this is better though because God is telling us that it's blessed by the Holy Spirit. So this is different.
And I'm sure that there's old people, or not necessarily just old people, but people who are like highly religious and whatever, that are really respect the word of their pastor or whatever, and believed that maybe if they did not donate the money that they would be punished by God in some sort of, like in the afterlife, or if they go to heaven or hell, like that God also wanted them to do this.
I
So
can't imagine going up to the pearly gates and then just being up your final judgment, just being, well, I see you didn't invest in INDX coins, so off to hell for eternity you go.
oh gosh, and where was this? This is Colorado. They're probably all high too. So
Yeah, there's too much marijuana.
yeah.
But anyway, let's continue on. It's the complaint alleges the couple created, marketed, and sold cryptocurrency to members of the Christian community. Um, he Mr. Regalado, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, preaches for the online only Victorious Grace Church. Victorious is already, I'm sure there's a lawsuit for that, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, Targeted believers, telling them that God told him investors would end up wealthy if they put money into INDX coin, the complaint alleges. And essentially it kind of just repeats a lot, but let me try to find. A couple also allegedly filled presentations with prayers and quotes from the Bible, telling investors that investment would lead to abundance and blessings. That is so fucking shitty, dude.
It's
This
like the
is
more
like
you
it's
donate, the closer you are to God, by the way.
yeah, but it's just like this is intentional. He's doing this on purpose.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not like he's so delusional that he's like, "Oh, I heard from God, like like this him being serious, like, oh, I heard from God to tell me to do this. This is something that you do completely under the volition of just wanting to, you know, act in a dubious manner. This is like essentially that he's intentionally trying to scam people. There's nothing like no ifs ands buts about it, but the problem is that he could come out and say that, and a lot of the believers, from my experience, a lot of these believers would probably still take it like as though he wasn't, because they feel that like if you're a pastor, if you're someone who's in this type of position, you're essentially like put in that position like blessed by God, so you
Right.
can't really do no wrong. And that brings up like another incident that I don't think we'll go too deep on, but there was a pastor who molested like a 15-year-old girl, and the girl during like they had like a whole like during Sunday service, the girl came up and called him out and exposed him in front of everybody, and he just came out there and essentially was just like, oh well, I did that, but you know what? Really, it was kind of her fault. And let's say a Bible verse, and then they do that, and then all is forgiven, and then the family understandably gets more furious because of just how sucked in everybody is. So like, given off of things like that, I wouldn't be surprised if that's like similar to this situation, because from my understanding, this really hasn't like this didn't stop for a while until after he got caught. People were still donating after he got caught. So I'm sure he tried like backtracking
I mean,
towards
it's kind of like a
anybody who found out.
brainwashing situation. Like, even though, even, I mean, to the testament of even after he told them to stop, that they couldn't stop, it's like, oh, that's literally like
Yeah,
an addiction and brainwashing.
th- this is the devil telling us to stop. You keep sending money into my shitcoin. It'll be great.
Literally.
But yeah, that's another problem. They're not gonna. A lot of these people don't understand anything about crypto. They're not going to look what it's backed on, what the value is based off of, what the liquidity is. If they were to, even if the value did go up according to like whatever broker that they bought it off from, they probably still would not be able to get their money back because there was no liquidity to back it. Like they were screwed from the start. Like no matter what would have happened. So he knows this because he's probably been on the internet for a while and was just, oh, this is a good way to lure people into getting easy money. I'll
Yeah.
just tell my followers to go do it. They'll believe me.
And probably never thought that he could be prosecuted for it. So,
Yeah. Well, it says right here that they also allegedly offered their cryptocurrency through an online exchange platform called Kingdom Wealth Exchange, which they created and controlled themselves. So they created this is actually worse. This is way worse. So when it comes to like brokerages and all that, if you have like a crypto put up to an exchange and say anybody could buy it like that, chances are liquidity has a better chance of like if the value goes up, you could see a better return because it's not guaranteed that you're going to see all like the money that you put in get back to you. But if you're like buying Dogecoin through Robinhood and the value like 2x's, you will get that 2x. But when it comes to something like this, when he makes his own exchange and basically tells everybody put your money into it and there's nothing to back it. That is like there's literally nothing to back it. So the second you put your money in, nothing will happen. He could literally artificially inflate the value to make it seem as if like if you go and check it and you're like, oh wow, it was like $20 and now it's like 25. Oh, it's really working. And really what happened is that you've actually lost money because chances are he's already digging in there to take the money for himself. So they like he set them up from the beginning. Like the fact that he would make his own exchange kind of is like there's no other way to like look at that other than he set that up just to screw everybody over who puts it in.
He's a high-tech pastor with a ability to swindle his own community.
Well, don't give him too much credit. I don't think it's that hard to trick old people into doing this, but
Yeah.
at the same time, like yeah, it does take some knowledge to figure out how to create your own exchange, but it's really just like set up a website and then just have somebody manage it to, you know, I like I bet my bottom dollar that he artificially like inflated the price of it to make it seem like the value was going up. So people check it and they're like, "Oh wow, it is working. God is blessing me with more money." And then whenever they try to like if somebody tried to sell, I bet that's probably how it got found out too. Somebody tried selling and then whenever they got their money back or they either found out that they couldn't get their money back or they got less than what they even put in like initial value and they were like, "What the hell? Where's all my money at?" And then they'll probably press him about it and then somebody was eventually like, "Wait, I'm getting scammed," and then they probably reported him to the authorities about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that at all. He got what was coming to him, I guess. I wonder how
Yeah,
many
but
people's parents were the one that found, or not parents, kids were the one
yeah,
that found out about it.
it's probably their kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That like you got to remember that's a lot of money like the average person was putting in. And again, that's probably not the median. I bet somebody was putting their entire retirement into it
It's so sad.
and like or most of it and their kids probably found out about it and that's how this all got caught.
So
So that
sad.
could have been it. But but the reason why I say that he probably got somebody else to do it for him is because from this right here it says the Colorado Division of Security alleges that the couple had no prior experience in dealing with cryptocurrency and a third-party auditor's report found the INDX coin code to be unsafe, unsecure, and riddled with serious technical problems. So chances are they made it themselves off of like your DIY crypto whatever, but they probably had somebody else run the website for them, but they kind of just did it half-assed because I don't I don't know how you could just like poorly plan it to the point where it goes on for as long as it did and just not, you gotta lie to these people a bit more in order to get them to keep putting their money in. Like it's $3.2 million. I don't think it's going to sustain itself if you're just like constantly going, like constantly being all like, well, if God said that the value will go up eventually, but it's been stagnant for this entire time. So he had to hire somebody to go do it.
Yeah,
But
he also probably felt like criminally he wouldn't be as negligible, if
Yeah.
he did go down for it, which is smart, but I don't know exactly all the details, so.
Okay. And then it also says that despite the cryptocurrency being illiquid, which means like there's no backing behind it, you can't make money off of it, and practically worthless, the Legados are accused of continuing to promote it as a low risk, yeah, like a low risk, high profit investment. Like, yeah, it's just blind faith. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just confirming that. And then one of the securities commissioners said that we allege that Mr. Relegado took advantage of the trust and faith of his own Christian community, and that he peddled outlandish promises of wealth to them when he sold them essentially worthless cryptocurrencies. And then he also said new coins and new exchanges are very easy to create with open source code. We want to remind consumers to be very skeptical. And that's another thing, like I said, like DIY like crypto, like it's kind of a joke, but it's not too difficult to do it. Like you could put in like a few hours into figuring out how to do it, but anybody can. It's just when you have a following like this, it makes it easier to get people to essentially buy into it.
Yeah, and my
So
favorite part about it is that God actually told them to take that money from people in order to buy tens of thousands of dollars on jewelry, luxury handbags, cosmetic dentistry, and clothes. So that was really important.
yeah, I love the part where he's just buying all this shit for himself because he knows he's gonna like, or he thought he knew he was gonna get away with it, but he didn't.
He has a smug
But
face. He really thought he was going to get away with it. I can tell.
yeah. So it says that he took 1.3 million out of it. So there was still roughly about 1.9 million that is unreported. We don't know what he did with that, but 1.3 million was spent,
Didn't he
and
spend
they
some
use
on
that
his
for,
like mortgage too?
yeah, for like a home remodel that the Lord told us to do.
Yeah, the Lord was
And then
really, really pressing on that matter.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, he's
he
he
said
so
either
so
I
so
misheard God or God is still not done with this project, and He is
yeah,
going to do a new thing. So I guess we're gonna come to understand that God is just quite not done. So we'll keep a lookout.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I agree with him. I mean, I think it's God's fault.
Right.
The Almighty, all-knowing, just made a bad investment. I mean, we all do it. We all know that. Sometimes you just shoot for the moon and then you end up crash landing back down. It happens to everybody. So even the like this should honestly go as like a valuable statement or a valuable lesson for everybody to just you can invest in crypto, but even God himself can struggle to make a can struggle to make profit off of it.
Exactly. If that's what anyone should take from this story, that's what you should take.
Yes. All right. Well, I think that'll do it.
Yeah, that's like 20 minutes. And we only need
There
5.
is no way that was that was no way that was that long.